touch my mullet. There it is. Now we're live. Morning, YouTube.
Bum, bum.
How are you?
I'm good. Good morning.
I just noticed your hat.
You like that hat?
Kind of looked right past it all
You
day.
did? Because it's become so common now.
Yes. I did like it.
T-Lac got that for me.
Nice. Let's do this.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by me and Ash. It's 79 degrees in Victoria, Texas. Heading to a high today of 98 under what they are calling, the Weather Rock is calling, mostly cloudy skies. I call that partly sunny because I think sun trumps clouds. So under partly sunny skies, it's still going to be 98 degrees. I'm instituting the Wade and Carter heat advisory.
I'm sure there'll be one officially.
Yeah, stay home today, stay indoors, use the AC.
Yeah.
Although we never do it and would never do it, it's just not, it doesn't fit the flavor of the show. Special shout out this morning to my beautiful mother, Marion Carter.
There's exceptions made.
She's mom.
Yes.
But, you know, it's one thing like you, when you're like a lady.
What's the shout out for? You didn't finish your sentence.
Today is her birthday. She's 82 today. Is that right? Yeah, 82. Let me tell you, I did some ciphering there.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Carter.
Jethro Bodine ciphering. The idea is when a woman's in her 40s, maybe even her 50s, they don't want to talk about their birthday. I mean, it's like, I still look 40. But mom looks good. She's 82 years old. And when you're 82, you want to say, I'm 82. What about it?
That's a badge of honor.
I'm voting for Trump. I'm 82 years old. So happy birthday, Mama.
Happy birthday.
She's doing good.
You're still not her favorite.
No, it's a funny thing. I'm an only child and I'm not her favorite. I can't. I don't even know what that means anymore.
I don't either. But, you know, you've had a few turns around this sun to figure it out.
Well, they get to a certain age where they're just brutally honest. I never liked you, Brent. I don't know what it is. Your dad wanted to keep you around. I never liked you.
I was ready to put you up for adoption.
Right. If it would have just been a little more politically correct in the 60s, they would have been empty nesters. Oh, really? Yes. We never had a child. Well, we did, but it was early.
We adopted him out.
We got rid of him early. You know, looking back, it might not have been a bad call. It would have saved them
grief,
hundreds of thousands of dollars. Goodness gracious.
Millions, let's be honest.
Yes, let's be honest. Certainly in real dollars. You know, that you can compound the interest.
Definitely.
Hope you folks got your taxes filed yesterday, July 15th.
Yes, it was tax day.
Do that.
I believe you could file for an extension that would give you until September. So even the extension period isn't as long because usually you'd have till October, right?
October.
Yeah. So, but they did give you an extra 3 months right off the bat. Yep. So that's not so bad.
In other news, Wade and Carter Advertising about to take a drastic increase as Carter tries to find a way to pay his taxes. It's craziness.
And his mom back for the millions.
Right.
He's cost her.
It's crazy.
Marvin Mickish, good morning. Scott Snow, Bobby Leister. The Iceman is in. Chris Conrad, C.W. Bean, David Glass. Bobby Leisterometer says we're still holding steady at 67.
I was about to refer to my mom with her Indian name, you know, Mom Back. I like that. Pay Mom Back. I've been listening to a book called Empire of the Something Sun. It's an S.C. Gwynn book. Empire.
Is that about the Comanches?
Yes.
Empire of the Summer Sun, isn't it?
Something. I'll look it up. I have the app. But the Indians were so practical. They absconded with a young girl and they threw her over the back of a horse in Empire of the Summer Moon.
Summer Moon. Close.
And they threw her over the back of the horse. And while she was bouncing around, she was only like 5 years old, lost control of her bowels and pooped herself on the back of the horse. Her Indian name was Smells Bad When Walking. No kidding.
Really?
That was her Indian name. That's how she got her Indian name. And it's being read by a guy. It's not being read by the author. And that's how she got her Indian name. Smells Bad When Walking. There you have it. Why do you ask? 2 dogs. You know, it's just not. They're very practical people.
The Comanches were
Ruthless.
They were.
And active in this area, they raided Victoria, Texas.
I read a book. They were more active in the San Antonio Hill Country area, but I read a book about the Comanche raids in Texas and the kidnappings, the brutal killings, the enslavement, scalping. I mean,
yeah.
We try to focus on the history of this country, or there's a certain faction that wants you to focus on the history of this country that tries to tell you it's all bad. There's a lot of things that happen in the history of this country and in the history of the world evolving to where we got to the point today.
If you call it evolution.
It could be devolution. Yeah, it could be. But
But you're right.
You can't go. I mean, the problem I have with this is looking back at history and that snapshot in time with today's moral compass.
That's exactly right. The American horse soldier was not burning the nose off of Native women and then gang raping them and then killing them with lances.
No. Patrick Strauss, good morning. Judge Posey, Adam Daughtry, Brad Miners checking in. Morning, Brad.
But I'll tell you, you mentioned on the way in, or you and I discussed actually yesterday, so the Washington Redskins came back and big surprise. They've done this several times over the last 30 years. We're going to study it. Should we get rid of our motto? Should we change our logo? Should we do this? Should we do that?
Well, they took it a step further because Tuesday, Dan Snyder said, okay, the name's gone.
We're going to make a change.
Yeah. So, I mean, now they're nameless right now.
They had a great suggestion. I actually believe it's a great suggestion. Many of you will know this story. Many of you won't. But in World War II, the Navajo tribe, they had their own language, obviously. And the language basically was a dead language, except for the Navajos. It was kind of like Latin. The Navajos knew it and worked with the United States government to become what they were referred to as the code talkers.
There's been movies, there have been books. I mean, you can easily find the history of it.
15 years. The history's there, though. And it's
a fascinating story.
Absolutely. And people that were essential to victory in World War II. And the Navajo chief said, hey, why don't you call them the code talkers? Now you're not only bringing awareness to the Native American, but it's in a complimentary way.
Yeah, Jonathan Nez, the Navajo Nation president, offered up the name, the Washington Code Talkers. I like it. It's unique. For one, it tells a story. You don't have to try to make a story up for your name. I mean, it's there.
I think it would be better to probably change the New England Patriots to the Code Talkers. The way they inflate gate and video people, they could be the Code Talkers.
They should be the spies.
Wasn't Peyton Manning one of the original Code Talkers? Omaha! Omaha!
Might have been, at least in the NFL.
He was a Code Talker. But I like it.
I do too. And I think if you're Dan Snyder and the Washington Redskins and you're sincere in your oration of defending your long derogatory nickname that it wasn't derogatory.
And make it still about Indians, make it still about Native Americans. Just change the
I don't see how
narrative.
I mean, let's make it a positive about a group of Native Americans that were instrumental in beating Japan. I mean, Japan couldn't crack the code.
So
that was the thing.
Are you prepared at this time to go out on a limb and name it the Wade and Carter are going to make the call, the Washington Code Talkers? Are we going to do that? Because it's not very NFL-ish. It's very historical. The Cowboys, the Seahawks, the Saints. Of course, now with the Saints, it's kind of a reference to the Catholic Church. We've got to got to be a separation of NFL and church. That's got to go.
I'm not willing to make that statement yet because
If anybody can mess that up,
It's the
it'd be
NFL.
Redskins.
Yeah, and
NFL.
Dan Snyder in
Sure.
Washington. Yeah.
100%.
So, but I'll be honest, that's a name that does more for me than the Red Wolves.
Yeah, come on.
You're just because you're trying to keep the name Red in there.
Right. I agree.
The
with
Red
that.
Tails.
A red tail like a hawk?
No, I think it was more. I saw somebody came up and said, "Here's a name," and I think it was a tribute to the Tuskegee Airmen and the planes that they flew.
Okay. Well, if you can find a way to make it about the brothers too, then that's even better. That's going to reach across all types of racial barriers.
Well, you bring up a good point. Is somebody going to be hurt if you went with the Washington Code Talkers because they didn't get their due respect?
Right. I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's there wouldn't be anybody with historical ties to Tuskegee, but somebody would be offended. Some white person from Jersey would be offended on their behalf.
Probably.
And then create a march. Yeah. I saw a deal the other day.
Let's see if anybody weighed in on this. Let's see.
Nobody
Karen Webb's in.
just says that I'm on the juice.
H.R. Mallory.
So
sure, I'm just looking to see if anybody said, if they thought it was a good idea.
I saw a deal the other day where, the fake outrage is the outrage that always lasts the shortest amount of time. And I saw a deal where there was the Black Lives Matter movement had.
Steve Kidder says the Washington smells bad when walking.
I like that. And
that would really sum up Washington, D.C., wouldn't it?
Pays homage to their Native American past. But I saw a deal where the Black Lives Matter people they're just trying to spur some interest to get rid of the quote unquote Confederate statue down on our square. And they were trying to do a petition because, they're peaceful folks. And I've decided that while I have no problem saying, hey, Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, maybe even more to me, I am tired of a group that, without controversy, is tied to Marxist ideals. By their own website, if you associate yourselves with anything that says Black Lives Matter, you're in bed with a group of Marxists at the height of your organization. I don't want, on principle alone, for Victoria, Texas, to kowtow to any Marxist group over anything we do in our town. I don't want to do it. I wouldn't want Victoria to do away with the Armadillo Festival because PETA didn't like it. I think the PETA folks, by and large, are a bunch of leftist idiots. And I wouldn't want, now, I might agree with Ash. Go on, what it's going to do for the armadillos? And I would agree with Ash. That's right. There's a cross between Barack Obama and you. But I wouldn't want to give in to PETA. And I'm telling you, by the way, we do this show 5 days a week. We take calls from everybody you can imagine. And sadly, too many don't have the courage to really stand up for what they believe. We've never been approached about Black Lives Matter. They've never said, hey, can we come in and talk to you guys about our mission? It's one of peace. It's one of hope. We just want to get it out there to the world. What the world needs now is Black Lives Matter. No, they don't do that. They don't come see us. Why? Because they're a Marxist group. And hey, somebody who's injected themselves into the world and become a public figure, this Kim Pickens lady, go away. Go away. You're like a bizarre old white chick that just talks too much.
Where are you seeing stuff? I don't even know.
Oh, it's on Facebook all the time. She's just become like this activist nut job. Seriously. That caught you by surprise, didn't it? I'm throwing it out there. It's a nut job. This rant brought to you by Brent Carter Doesn't Care. Just doesn't care anymore. Tired of it. This town needs an enema.
No, I'll agree with you on the first point because it's right there. I mean, they're 2 of the 3 founding members are claim to be trained Marxists. Says it all.
No doubt. So I gotta see what the commissioner said here.
Mike Bloschke's in. I got a little bit of feedback.
I like Mike Bloschke. Good morning, my buddy.
Lisa Poole likes the name. Justin Glass says somebody somewhere would still be offended.
Yeah, and I think at some point, do you even attempt to mitigate that damage, or do you just say, we're gonna take the next 50 years? Maybe they could do that. We're gonna do a nickname with a expiration date. In 20 years, we're changing the name again because we can.
If you're all about marketing, you change it every year.
Right? New jerseys
every year, new merchandise. Your merchandise sales will probably be hot. Well, then maybe people would catch on. Maybe you got to give it maybe a 5.
Maybe if they won a game once in a while, their merchandise would be hot.
There you go.
Speaking of winning,
Jimbo Slice says the Red Comrades, since Washington is so far left.
That's a great point.
Well, it's not Washington State that they're in. This is D.C., but
they could be.
They could represent.
They
Washington
could be the
State.
Washington Red Scare.
There you go.
Now that's not bad. The Washington Red Scare, where we're all scared of the Russians, the commies. So my son Kyle was watching Miracle on Ice the other day. Kurt Russell beefed up a little, got his hair kind of uncurled, played Herbie. Asked me if I remembered when that happened. I'm like, do you believe in miracles? Of course I remember when that happened. I watched it live. So they went on and beat, was it Norway or Finland?
They beat Finland
in the finals.
Well, here's the interesting thing people forget. There was no gold medal game. Olympic hockey back then was a round robin.
Right.
So for the U.S. to have a chance at the gold medal, they had to beat the Russians, and then they had to beat Finland. Beating Finland actually won them the gold.
Right, but they had that was the final.
No,
it was just the final game
of the tournament. Yeah, I mean that was it. There was no medal round like there is now. You play your round robin, then you get to the medal round. And when Canada beats the U.S. every Olympics for the gold medal, that's actually winning the gold medal.
I see how it is now. I see how it's going down. Good morning, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Good morning,
but back then,
Newfoundland, Saskatchewan.
But the thing there was, this was a bunch of collegiate hockey players from the U.S.
scared to death
that were playing against the mighty Soviet Union, and anybody who knew anything about hockey and really almost any other sport that the Soviets were involved in back then,
all pro.
They weren't amateurs.
No,
they trained all year long. It wasn't like the Soviet, the Soviet hockey team played for the Moscow Red Army. That was the name of the hockey team. They would play all over the world.
They were the best collective group of amateur, quote unquote, amateurs in the world.
Yeah, but they were all in the Army because everybody in the Soviet Union had mandatory Army duty, except what they realized was they were better skaters and hockey players than they were shots.
Right.
So they kept them in the Army so they could pay them and paid them well. They were one of the few groups of Soviet citizens that were allowed out of the country, and they toured the world. They played the best of the NHL. They played the best in Europe. They were probably the second, you could argue they might have been one of the top 5 hockey teams in the world.
Yeah.
From a talent standpoint, and a lot of them, when the Soviet Union finally crumbled, a lot of them finally came over and played in the NHL.
But when the Soviet goalie would let the puck through into the net, like his mother at home might lose a digit off her finger. They might lop it off. You better play hard for the mother country.
Yeah. No, so when the U.S. beat them in '80 in Lake Placid, it was on American soil, which made it even more special. But you had a bunch of guys who were in college. Maybe had just finished playing college, and you had a lot of guys in that team that went on and played in the NHL. Good players.
Great players.
I'm trying to think. The Christian brothers were on that team. They were pretty good.
When did the Canadians beat the Russians?
Oh, every year. I'm trying to think. I don't know if Canada played in the Olympics in '80. If we did, we were terrible. Well, seriously.
Tell you who's not terrible. Seriously. Allen's Record Service, 578-6300. Get a hold of Allen when your car won't go. Let Allen get you dragged to safety. 578-6300. That's the number you need when you have a small fender bender. You have a large truckload that falls off on the side of the road. If you're in a ditch, if you're stuck, Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300.
Yeah, apparently a truck lit up with some hay bales on it, either last night or early this morning.
On fire?
Yeah.
Allen just towed it through town.
So maybe
120 through town, just sending sparks everywhere.
That might have been why.
Beautiful.
Yeah, watch those loads of hay, folks. Right
you know
now,
who cleaned that up? White Trash Services, 550-1826. Reach out to BJ and Scott Nelson. They have a beautiful company. They have a beautiful new red White Trash Services truck. 550-1826. That's the number for White Trash Services in a 6-county region, now including Rockport and Holiday Beach.
So that takes them to 7 counties, technically.
Technically, Aransas County. 550-1826. The Adson Offer dealership since 1926, people.
They've been selling Victoria and the Victoria area, their cars and trucks for almost 100 years.
Chevys, Cadillacs, Mazdas, Mitsubishis, all models, makes, and service. All models and makes, they'll fix your car. They'll fix all the dents.
All the dings.
Whatever you need. Adson Offer since 1926.
Unfortunately, there's no fixing Ashton's car.
And then Went really, they told it?
Yeah.
Then Went
Probably.
Services, Went generators, Went solar panels. You want to get a little more grid independent? They sell all makes and models of electric generators. They install them, they test them, they maintain them, they warranty them. They also have solar panels that feed back to a battery backup.
They have little apps that can talk to you and tell you,
Your generator came on today, it tested fine, and you're good to go.
Running low on oil or whatever.
It's all
pretty cool.
It's all Fitzer valves these days. Give me some 30 weight and some ball bearings, and we can fix it. Reach out to Wind Services today.
Flux capacitors and Fitzer valves.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Oh,
Cody Sugar, you might have won the Washington nickname game. The DC Swamp Donkeys.
Donkeys.
I like it. The Washington Weasels.
The
Matt
Washington
Boucher.
reparations. I like that.
You're close, Matt Boucher. I like the Weasels.
Did you see where the state of North Carolina, Asheville, that particular county in North Carolina, voted yesterday to provide reparations
But here's
for their long, hard sought guilt over slavery.
But here's my understanding. I believe, nobody's getting money. It's going into investment zones to try to help
consciousness. That's what they get.
Minority-owned businesses.
Which, by the way,
specifically black-owned businesses, because they're not going to get
that here anyway.
Well, and Donald Trump. What's interesting, Asheville gets touted across the country for this.
They're so bold.
The president signed an order, might have been a law, I'm not sure which, that created a whole bunch of these investment zones and opportunity zones across the country for all minorities. There's thousands of these across the country that the President Trump, has enabled. No other president has done this. Yet it kind of gets put on the back burner. It doesn't get brought to light. The media pays no attention, but Asheville, North Carolina can put a different name on it. The same idea. And then the national media is saying, whoa, look at this. These guys are great.
President signed a bill. Could be a law. I don't know. Could be a law. I don't know.
I don't know if it was an executive order, or if it was something that Congress passed. That's all I'm saying. I doubt it was something Congress passed, given the bipartisan.
I want you to stop and think for just a minute about what our country could be like if
Brad Miner says that won't get media play because it doesn't fit their narrative. No,
If
exactly.
Joe Biden wins the presidency, which, by the way, how many of you have a little, maybe you've never even consciously admitted this to yourself. How many of you have a little unspoken, is it trepidation, concern about the legitimacy of our election procedures, and that how you may go vote for Trump and I may go vote for Trump. We may go, yep, Joe Biden won in a landslide. And like, wow, okay. Because then when Trump goes, hey, we need to recount those votes, just accept it. Hillary did. I mean, that'll be the deal. So can you imagine, honestly, if you had Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi,
Schumer,
whatever, Sherbet, I don't know, and
Sorbet.
Joe Biden just running amok in Washington. They're all in AOC, all the bug-eyed crowd. AOC's making the drinks. Schumer's making the bills. Nancy's passing the laws. What do we do?
I saw
Crazy town, man.
saw a post of hers the other day touting all her education and everything that she's accomplished, and yet all she could, and not knocking bartenders, so I know a few good ones, but they also didn't spend $300,000 on their education to become a bartender.
Right. She was highly sought of after college.
Yeah,
for being
so much
genius.
so with all her education that nobody but a bar wanted to hire her.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeffrey Fonseca says he thinks about it every day. Election fraud is scary.
Election fraud is scary and very real. Good morning,
Well,
Sheriff.
I think the potential's there. I think much like we get whipped up to a frenzy about other things, I'm not sure that the hype meets the actual reality.
Right.
But I do believe, if you want my take on where the fraudulent part of this next election will be, it will be the manipulation of the Democrat ticket to instill whoever the vice president is as the president real quickly.
Oh yeah.
Because it'll be the first.
Michelle Obama.
I mean, wow. I think it's going to be Stacey Abrams.
See, I really do think the name recognition. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
because she's not.
But she's a victim, right?
Right.
You know, she's a victim of Georgia voting laws
and racism. There's Heather Monroe, Heather No Nonsense Monroe, MUNRO.
Why waste digits?
Right.
Or consonants, I should say. Sky Sanchez checking in. But that to me would be a more of an affront to the democratic process in this country, that if Joe Biden gets elected, and I don't think it will happen.
I pray it doesn't.
But they quickly, after inauguration, move to have him step aside so the vice president. And I understand that's the line of succession.
It's disingenuous, though. It's misleading the American public.
That's my point, because the Democrat Party could then basically just put whoever they want as vice president as president, and that's the end game that I think is going to be played out here if they get to that point. They don't want Joe Biden as president, but whoever becomes their vice president will be the one they want to be president.
Yeah, they could put, for example, Beto in there, stir all the young people into a frenzy, get everybody 18 or older to go vote, and the next thing you know, they're like, hey, Creepy Joe, step aside. Beto's our guy. Couldn't get elected to Congress again, but slides right into the presidency.
And I don't necessarily believe that was the intent of our founding fathers.
The Washington Poutine Tuesdays. Cody Sugar. Don't operate any heavy equipment.
How about we pay homage to Canada and call them the Washington Red Flames in honor of the War of 1812 when Canadians came down and burned the White House?
Nice point. Hey, ask these folks right here. Somebody just like top of your mind here. Do you know what Cinco de Mayo is? Somebody tell me what Cinco de Mayo is.
Sky Sanchez, why? We're in July.
No. You know what she said?
No, that's what I'm saying. Sky Sanchez says misleading the American public is the true agenda that the Democrats have.
No, that's true.
Wayne Payne asks, haven't they arrested most in voter fraud the past 2 months? I think we're seeing a lot of stories kicked up from voter fraud that has been happening. There's been a lot of bribery scandals out there. Like that woman in Detroit who basically was paid to get rid of votes.
Why's it got to be a woman, man?
Because that's who they arrested.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Washington white people bads.
It just doesn't quite flow. Bob Watley says Mexico defeated the French. Cinco de Mayo.
Bob Watley is correct. I have people all the time. Oh, it's like it's Mexican Independence Day. We're incorrect. Defeated Napoleon III. The only reason it was a big deal is it was kind of a Alamo type situation. Yeah. Highly outnumbered and beat the French back, and gave them a reason to celebrate. Just one victory in a war.
Chris Conrad asks, and this.
Thank you, Bobcat.
Could they put Barack Obama on the ticket as VP and circumvent term limits? Chris, a fellow Canadian, that's a question that I honestly don't know the answer to that.
I don't know the answer either, but I'm going to tell you something. If they did, they'd win. There's still enough knuckleheads out there that think Barack was something important.
Biden, Obama?
Yeah, I think that would be a winner. Now, that would be the illusion that you and I have talked about that, well, if you get Michelle, you also get Barack. Barack's going to be out back smoking cigarettes.
No, he'd be more involved in that.
Yeah, I think he would be too.
You can't tell me Hillary wasn't calling a lot of shots when Bill Clinton was president.
Not as many shots as Monica called. Speaking of today, being involved, being in the middle of things, the VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer. If you don't have a security system, you're unsecure and arguably insecure. Reach out to the VCS folks. Let them come by. They'll tell you what you need. They'll tell you exactly what you need. They told me, no, you don't need another sensor over there. This sensor will pick it up. Saving me money, saving holes in my ceiling, saving time. 1080p, focusable, expandable cameras. Record every time you set a zone. Somebody trips, something trips that zone. I had to shut mine down a little bit because the leaves on a tree were tripping the camera.
It's a sensitive system.
It is that high tech, and VCS is the leader in this region in that integrity and doing it right the first time. Reach out to them. SCT Building Systems, our buddies Clayton and Casey Help.
564-8864 is the number to call.
Young family, doing it right, quality product, whether you need bricks and sticks, mortar, whatever you need. If you need a steel building, you want to build a barn dominium, a she shed, they do it all.
You need more storage, they can do that as well.
They can add on to what you've got. Just reach out and let Casey give you some ideas, and Clayton will do the heavy lifting.
And they can give a nice curb appeal as well.
564-8864. Chesnick Furniture, 100 years in Victoria.
116 West Wan Lin is where they're located. They've only been there for the last 70 years.
Yeah. So. Amazing. Bobby Leon and his family. Bobby Leon's grandfather started that business back when they literally delivered furniture via horse-drawn wagon.
On dirt roads.
On dirt roads. Now they deliver quality furniture in nice trucks on
roads that are still the same quality.
Cruddy roads. There you have it. Reach out to Chesnick, though. They've evolved with the times, even though our streets have not. Dwayne Proctor, GDP Text, 550-4744.
Cody Sugar, the DC Lily Pads.
What about the Washington Snowflakes? I like swamp rats. I do like swamp rats.
Yeah, I do too.
I like the Washington swamp rats. That would be cool.
And I'm not sure that Dan Snyder is not enough of a jerk to just do it.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. And just have that rat. Look, it's just a rat and got a ciggy hanging out of his mouth. Make him red. The Washington swamp rats.
Change their colors to red and blue. That way they won't offend anybody.
You got them both.
Jeffrey Fonseca says he thinks he just drove by the hayfire scene in Mission Valley.
Wow.
Trisha Nagel checking in. So, a little bit of a scandal close to home with the Victoria Livestock Show.
Yeah, apparently.
Former treasurer Billy Hessler makes off with about $140,000 over time.
139. About
And change.
You're a Massimino's guy. I like it. $139,000 missing from the Victoria Livestock Show. Interesting deal. We have I had reached out, I don't know about HIPAA and all that. When it's on the front page of the paper, you don't know if you can ask or not. I had reached out to
any HIPAA.
Well, I reached out to Steve Tyler. Steve Tyler was representation for the Livestock Show. Mr. Garland Sandhop was the lawyer for Ms. Hessler. And they reached, who, by the way, by all accounts and everything I've heard, super nice lady. I mean, kind of the felon next door. But reached out, and she apparently admitted, yeah, I kind of took this money and used it for my own personal gain. Oh, by the way, I'll pay it back. And an agreement was made where she paid it back, or is paying it back, and no charges were filed. I always wonder about that. It's kind of like if you're the bank robber and you grab $500,000 and you're running down the street and the police catch you and you go, here, take it back. Oh, okay, no harm, no foul. See you at Mayberry. I don't know how that works, but I'll tell you what.
White privilege.
Steve Tyler must be a heck of a nice guy and a really good negotiator to allow that to go on. The one thing I would mention, if anybody has any details, if anybody wants to talk about that, feel free to call 575-9509.
Does it shake your Sky Sanchez's restitution? Does it shake your confidence in the Livestock Show?
See, to me, it does not, and I'll tell you why.
No, it doesn't for me either. But I'm just asking: does that happen to our listeners and viewers out there?
Right. Brad Miner points out paying back only what they could prove. Yeah. What do you do if you find out later, oh, well, there was another $80,000 in cash from the beer garden that's unaccounted for? But I wonder about. I don't know where I stand on. Okay, you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Are we going to let you walk? But make no mistake. I mean, this is not. Nobody's getting a pass here. I mean, I've been told they had to sell their home. They had to find a way to pay the money back. And by the way, like I said, by all accounts, very nice people.
Yeah, but now you're turning her into the victim.
Yeah, see, I don't understand that either.
Admittedly stole $139,000, but now you've just had to sell her home to get it paid off. I mean, geez, you stole $139,000.
It was absolutely, by everybody's admission, an act of commission. It wasn't like, oh, I made a mistake. Took the money, used it to pay personal bills, doctored bank statements. Steve Tyler being benevolent. I
reached out to Steve no jail time. My understanding is no.
Yeah, no jail time. Which I don't know where
is
the state is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You're still a criminal.
Is this one of those where if the Livestock Show decides not to press charges, then they go away?
I don't know. I will tell you this. The Livestock Show is in great hands. My friend Hirsch Van Sickle is now in charge of those funds, and I assure you it would take a lot more than $150,000 to corrupt Hirsch Van Sickle.
Randy Kowalik has a question. What are you teaching all the kids that you stole from?
Right.
You let her walk.
Legit point. I mean,
and here's the thing. I can see it already. Well, it was a victimless crime. Nobody was hurt.
The money's been repaid.
And I don't know how long. I mean, you could argue, you stole $20 a year for 7,000 years, I guess.
Right.
Then I guess technically, it'd be more than that. No, that's about right. Then I guess you might have a victimless crime because $20 a year for 7,000 years doesn't go very far.
Right.
But
it makes you wonder. I don't know. I'm curious where our audience stands. Is it a forgive and forget situation? Does the dollar amount affect your benevolence? If it was $2 million, and by the way, she paid back $2 million, you letting her off the hook? I don't know. I think I think it's something that, from like I said, from all accounts, um, Miss Hessler was someone that they all thought the world of, and just made a mistake, but definitely made a conscious mistake and admitted such.
Kelly Fromme has a good point. The livestock show's very premise is teaching kids the value of hard work, managing assets, behaving morally. The message to them by letting her off is thrown out the window.
I can see it.
Sky Sanchez is absolutely not okay.
Yeah.
Does it make a difference? Because this, well, refresh my memory. Remember the lady that was on the, I think the Victoria Housing Board and was caught stealing a whole bunch of money, government money from our local housing board? This might have predated your revival in Victoria. But I don't know that she was ever faced any jail time either. I think she was charged. I don't think anything ever came of it. Do we have a habit of that in this community? Just letting people go steal things and, does it make a difference if this is donor money and not tax money?
Well, then you turn
to me, it doesn't. I mean, geez, doesn't this rise to the level of felony with the amount stolen?
Certainly. Absolutely a felony. But then turn around.
And you got posters on every business in town. You write a hot check, we're coming after you.
Right.
Pill for $140,000. Well,
no foul. Oh, you paid it back?
Okay, fine.
You paid it back because you got caught? I don't know. Then you look around and you see what I still contend is much ado about nothing out at the airport. There's a small faction of people that they want the court's head out there over money that is accounted for and was spent for the purpose it was collected. So it's almost, if you're not an elected person, then
you get a pass.
You get a pass, but if you're elected, well, then we're just going to drop the hammer on you.
There's Conrad, grand larceny. Sky Sanchez says, makes you wonder what else might have happened.
Yeah, no, it's a phone call. That's what we need, people. Interaction. Good morning, Wade Carter. Yes, sir. Hello, Steve Tyler. How are you, sir? No worry. You don't respond to our schedule, sir. We're just glad to have you call.
But it's timely because we were just talking about this.
Yeah, and I know that you're smart enough to not actually listen to the show. I get that. But we were talking about right. And I don't even talk about Texas anymore. They're so bad. I just don't even talk about it. You got to give me a reason to talk about it. But tell us where we're at. I appreciate. I believe that from you, and I appreciate that. That's well played.
And from an Aggie.
Yeah, well, when the Aggies decided to deface Sol Ross's statue, that was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no,
that's right.
No, I get it. Yeah.
What can you tell us? What insight we've opined here that we've asked about? There's obviously was an act of commission at the livestock show. $139,000 seems to be the agreed upon figure. Money was missing. Money has been repaid or is in the process of being repaid. And I'm thinking my man Stone Cold Steve Tyler is going to drop the hammer on somebody. And instead, there seems to be an agreement made where, hey, no harm, no foul, pay the money back. And yes, sir. Right. Sounds like the federal government. Right.
Couldn't you do both? Right. Right. Jimbo Slicer says, if you put her in jail, it's kind of hard to get the money back. I think that And I can understand that.
Large
defense attorneys and yeah.
Well, I like the priority. We want to get the blip, the tarnish, if you will, off the livestock show. Which, by the way, it never crossed. I looked at this as the desperate act of an individual, not an indictment in any way of the livestock show. And by installing Hirsch Van Sickle in a role of responsibility, I feel that question's been answered. I think he's the utmost of integrity and responsibility. And my confidence in the not-for-profit would not be shaken at all with Hirsch involved.
Is there like a statute of limit, Steve? Is there like a statute of limitations here? Couldn't you get the money back and then proceed with the charges? Or pursuing that road?
Right. A child like Ash. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm. No, I like getting the money back and putting it behind from the livestock show perspective, put it behind the livestock show and move forward. We've had several folks ask here, they're saying she did admit to taking the funds and I mean essentially said, yeah, I'm guilty of this, correct? I mean she's admitted it. Mm-hmm. There you go. Good deal. Right. So right. Right. Perfect. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
And know that that's why I reached out to you, sir, is that we pride ourselves on not only having access to, but trying to seek our responses straight from the source. So you're our guy. Just to be clear, we're gonna have to cut this one short. Number one, we'd love for you to come back in and visit with us at any time that you feel fit. Number two, and now answer this carefully. So people now, they don't have to get in trouble to engage Steve Tyler Legal Services. People who need a good attorney with a ton of experience in the Victoria area can actually reach out to Steve Tyler direct. Is that the case now? They just want you to shoot their
Well,
water.
but bars are closed.
Right.
They can't talk to they can't talk to their bartender.
It's BYOB and Steve Tyler Law. Might have to bill you. Yeah.
Become billable
Well, hey,
hours.
thank you.
Thanks,
you
Steve.
for clearing all
Appreciate
that
it.
up for us. And we appreciate you, folks. That's Steve Tyler, former district attorney and a local,
Appreciate the call, Steve.
highly thought of a legal mind here in the Crossroads. If you need help with any of your legal matters, if he can negotiate that deal, he can probably negotiate your deal.
Chris Conrad says she was stealing from the stock show to pay back another theft that she had
Correct.
perpetrated. That's a pattern.
No doubt.
Now the livestock show may have to worry about people doing this again in the future because they just showed that there are no consequences.
Yeah.
Tough position to be in for them.
I would think that Hirsch Van Sickle will put together a little team, and they'll
There
sit
can be a
down
little
and
bit more oversight in that
checks and
treasurer.
balances,
Yeah.
2 folks involved, 2 signatures on every check, all that kind of stuff. Because, on one hand, it's a black eye, but it's more of a black eye, bless her heart, to Ms. Hessler. The livestock show is not something that I would have any hesitation.
Steve Kidder
in
says
donating to.
stock show isn't pressing charges, but he believes that the DA can still prosecute.
There you go. And there you have it. Now,
Unless the DA was part
it
of
would
the deal.
probably, if the DA decided to prosecute, the DA might go for some kind of lesser charge because restitution was made and all the things. They're not, it's not like she's on the run and we're having to catch her in Colorado or somewhere. Today's a great day to get to Veracruz, folks. It's the day after Caldo Wednesday. You can
576-6015.
pick up food to go in. They're doing all the right things as pertains to COVID protection for you and your family. Get in there and enjoy the great food at Veracruz. I like to go by and just pick up a quart of the hot sauce. Take it home and use it at home, and it just takes a little bit of Veracruz to the house.
You get a bag of chips when you leave there, too?
Yes, and it even tastes better at home. It's a true story because you can't make it.
No.
You can't make it. We got to talk about Uncle Mutt's barbecue, too. Some days you want Mexican food, some days you want barbecue. Get by Uncle Mutt's. Brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, turkey. They've got it all, and they still have all the things that you know to be your favorites. Uncle Mutt's rice, the green beans, cabbage, coleslaw, potato salad, all the great side dishes, and the best iced tea in town.
Drive-through to go.
Yeah.
I don't think the dining room is open right now.
Tell Jonathan that Wade and Carter sent you. You'll get a special deal. A slice of bread.
And pickles.
And then Gray Barn Design, Cheryl
920-6803. That's the number to call.
She'll help you with your next event. Make it eventful. Make it enjoyable for you and your family. Turn all that over to Cheryl. Let her create the atmosphere that you've dreamed of. You'll walk into your own party and go, yes, this is what I had in mind, because she's got the eye to do it. She has all the little tools and weapons of the trade that allow her to come in and make your event something for the ages. The reviews have been unbelievable. I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, I don't want to blow smoke up Ash's skirt, but let me tell you this. I went to a party that his wife did, and it was just unbelievable. It wasn't like over the top, not too much. We don't have icicles hanging from the ceiling. It was just perfect.
If you wanted
We
them.
could do that. You want to do a frozen party? Call Cheryl. And then, of course, USA Concrete.
And then we'll have to call my brother to understand what frozen is because our
Right.
kids are beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet Giancarlo still watches Frozen when he's not running with the football. Toting the rock, watching Frozen.
There you go.
USA
Frozen
Concrete
tundra.
Coatings. Reach out 578 Home. Charlie Garcia and his crew will come out and give you an estimate. They'll put a polyurethane high-tech NASA
UV protected coating on it.
Teflon. It's all there.
Won't chip, won't crack, won't peel, won't fade.
Harder than urethane.
And they can cover, the name's a little misleading, USA Concrete Coatings. They'll cover tile. They'll cover bricks. They can put this on anything.
You could push your kid down on the floor. They'd spray it right over. It'd be like a little speed bump in your garage. They'll do it. 578 Home. Reach out to them. I think we caught all our sponsors. We tried to
I think we did.
mix it up a little this morning. We're very blessed, very proud to have the sponsors we have. They all have a sense of humor. They all get it.
And there's the brother man who's running late this morning.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about the fact that it's Thursday.
I
didn't want to cut in.
Oh, please.
Let me just real quick, boy.
Tell us what's going on, my friend.
No fanfare, no ado about nothing. Straight to the brother man.
Straight to the meat of the matter. Tell us what's up.
There is nothing going on, boys, right now. Dak Prescott turned it down. They offered him $100 million guaranteed. And
Are you kidding me?
When we heard
I didn't know the details.
$100 million for Gary, do you have any of the total time or total?
It's say like 35 a year, 100 million of that guaranteed.
Did you know that Jerry Jones said it's not right for folks to say we're not interested in a long-term deal with Dak? If I say I'll pay $100 million, I'm fairly interested. If it's just I won't pay 101, that doesn't make me not interested.
I heard 100 million guaranteed.
Well, that's the hard part. There's a lot of numbers floating around. And that's the thing. The Cowboys don't. I mean, I'll give Jerry Jones this. He's pretty tight-lipped until the contract's actually signed and sealed. Right. You really have no idea where he is on his contracts. Right. But
J-Dub just said he doesn't think Giancarlo watches. Frozen doesn't even know if the Wileys have ever seen.
No,
maybe you're right.
But
how are you doing? You good?
I'm doing all right. I had a little major surgery, mouth back over here.
Okay.
Stitches and all. It's been 2 weeks and a little bit more work on it, but I'm okay.
Okay.
We had no idea.
Yeah. Well,
you were here last week.
I was. With painkillers and then a little bit of
Brother Gary had a tooth ripped out. He's been hooked on painkillers.
Yeah, well, look, he's lost weight.
He's lost
He's
some
starting
weight.
to look like
You have lost some weight.
You know, I have
Kenny?
been eating
Limited
smoothies and milkshakes, right?
with water. That's it. I thought I was going to be fine, and I really am, but I mean, it takes its toll after a while.
You sound a little bit different. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll be all right. I'm all right.
You better
a little hoarse.
I'm good.
How
was your trip?
Where's Ralph? Did he quit?
Ralph is.
He got a little overheated on the weekend, and so yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah. So we're
bless his heart.
Yeah,
Ralph, sorry to hear that.
Hey, the Flying Chanclas of San Antonio, the Texas Collegiate League team, they'll be in for the final finale tonight against the Generals, 7:05.
Yeah, that's we're gonna have to pick it up to make the playoffs.
What's a chancla?
Shoes.
A flip flop?
Shoes.
It's racist, I tell you. What changes made?
Well, really
what about sneakers?
They got a cool looking logo.
They really had to come up with that name.
Wow, the Flying Chanclas.
Kind of electric blue, hot pink, black and yellow are the team colors.
Change the name of the Generals.
They almost look like almost look like a pinata out there.
Right?
Generals better play better baseball.
They've been playing pretty good ball. They're just running into some better teams. I mean, right now. Well, I don't want to say better teams. Teams that are playing better and getting a little bit more breaks.
There you go.
There you go. Right there.
How does the field look out at Riverside?
It's in good shape.
Good.
Oh, yeah. New scoreboard looks good. I mean, here's the thing. They were leading last night, gave up some runs late. They lost 2-1 the night before. They took 2 or 3 from the last series and won it, every which way. They won a close one. They blew them out, and then they lost a close one. So, I mean, they're in every game. It's competitive ball, and they're playing good ball. Pardon me? I think they're 2 games under.
2 games under 500, so we'll go for them. There's not much going on, boys.
Well, what do you think about this this judge in the Jeffrey Epstein case came out yesterday and said he may release the list of names.
And there's at least 1,000 names
associated with Jeffrey Epstein. And I told Ash, I said, "Oh, that's nice. He's dead."
Oh boy.
Yeah, but the people associated with him aren't, or at least some of them aren't. Maybe
the judge may get killed.
Well, there's that. You've got his girlfriend sitting in jail. Some think she's been taken to Guantanamo Bay so that she doesn't end up dead because they took her originally. They were going to book her in Rikers, which is probably not the best place. Same unit, probably the same cell that Epstein was in. If they wanted to try to pull it off twice.
Lisa pulls on me about not knowing what a chocolate was.
For a guy who grew up in the valley,
it's radio, Lisa. It's radio.
Yeah, chocolate. Well, we grew up where I worked at Dick's West End.
Right.
I got the chocolates are. Go to school. I got my chocolates.
No shirt, no chocolates, no service.
No service, man. Anyway, there's not much going on, boys. Besides the Generals, a little bit at the Welder Center, some free movies starting today at 2:00. And you can go today, Saturday, and next week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
What movies do we know?
Rio today. Rio 2 on Saturday.
So
the animated one?
Animated.
Okay.
So
it won't be Gone with the Wind.
No.
Are you feeling better?
I'm feeling better, but I mean, you had a little adverse reaction to it.
Still hurts?
Yeah, a little hurt, and I got some more painkillers. I thought I was doing okay, but it's not that bad. Boys, you ever seen me stop?
No, I know that. Please don't operate any heavy equipment.
Okay, yes, sir. No.
Gary's Crane Service, brought to you by Gary's Crane Service.
Brought to you by Allen's Record Service.
Right. Alan's wrecker serves. I don't know, Alan. I was just going around the corner and the train just dumped over. Anyway,
J-Dub says it's another Heidi Fleiss situation. Yeah, I wonder if we'll see a little black book.
yeah.
Apparently, one name on this list is holding the whole thing up.
Bill Clinton.
Who would have that kind of clout
Bill Clinton.
in court to keep this list from being?
Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Boy, he looks bad. He has aged so poorly.
Well, he is old.
He's not that old, is he? So he was elected.
Mid to late 70s.
When was he elected?
He's lived with Hillary for 40 years.
Elected in 88. And at the time, I think he was 42. Means he was born in 46. Makes him 74 years old.
No, he was elected in 92, wasn't he?
92.
Twice, right?
92,
Twice,
and then
two
ran
terms.
till 2000. No, then we had, no, yeah, that's right. I
Yeah,
guess,
he was
yeah,
elected
twice.
in
Bush
80
and then Obama.
Yeah.
Yes, he was elected.
Forgot about
in 88.
the Bush years before
Bush years.
Obama.
They were fairly forgettable.
Yeah.
But you look at it and you go, okay, so he's only 74 years old. Is that correct?
Well, it says he doesn't look as bad as Hillary.
So he would have been born in, if he was first elected
I
at
don't-
the age of 42 in
Right.
88, means he was born in 46. So that's 74 years.
74 years.
74 years old. I
He doesn't look a day over 90.
He looks bad. Yeah. I don't have any doubt. You know, they showed pictures. I've seen the picture of Bill Clinton standing above. He's got his arm around Epstein's girlfriend. And,
You saw that picture?
and it said that, you know, apparently they dated. Well, if they dated, it was while he was married to Hillary.
Yeah, because she's only, what, in her 50s? So if they
Yeah.
dated when he was single, she was a kid.
Right.
Well, there's the rumors.
There you go.
He's attracted a young
Sammy
young-
Hagar does look good, Lisa. You're right. He's like about to be 70.
He's the same age as Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And he can still rock.
He can still rock it. So are
that-
you going to have, is Lilo coming in today?
Lilo's coming
There's a
right
case. There's a case for tequila.
He's not going to be here for a while, so I'm going to walk out with y'all.
Okay.
And then I've got a couple errands to run.
Then you'll be back.
I'll be back.
All right, sounds
Well,
good.
we
Well, we
appreciate you
ran
coming
overtime, but we appreciate you
All right.
stopping by.
Yeah.
And we got to get out of here.
Folks, you guys have a great day.
Free
Be
ticket
safe
night
out
tonight
there.
at the Generals, so make sure you get out there. We ain't gonna
Go
cost
to
you
the
a dime.
Generals game. It's a freebie. What time?
7:05. for
7:05 start. Let's go. Let's go support the Generals.
Free ticket night, Thirsty Thursday, $1 draft beer on the Clean Court party deck all game long.
Wow.
Good
Can't go wrong.
stuff. Good stuff.
Have a great one, folks.
Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.
You don't want no surgery.
No,
You
you
don't want
hurt
no
me.
surgery.
You okay?
I still got a bunch of stitches in there. You know, and I said, Jerry, you just go ahead, and then it doubled back on me a little bit, you know? So I got some more painkillers. It's okay though, brother. You know.
Well, I know you're tough, but I'm like, I had no idea. Or you need to make sure that you can, you make sure you're getting the nutrients. You're single, living at home alone.
This is one for you.
Okay, perfect. You better